have been warning us about the devastating consequences of global warming. Although international organizations, governments, and politicians keep setting goals to avoid the worst, most of these goals never achieved. Today, climate change and its consequences have overtaken us. Every continent, every region, and every country facing significant challenges due to climate change. Extreme heat and cold conditions, storms in higher frequency and intensity, floods and wildfires are some of the dramatic effects of this phenomenon. The growing number of climate-related disasters has shifted awareness, and today many governments accept climate change as an issue of national security. None of us has the right to stay still, leaving the so-called big polluters to act. Every single country's action has an impact of the world's global green transition. Thus, cooperation and collaboration are essential. International commitments as the Paris Agreement and the 2030 Agenda cannot be materialized without national actions. All countries need new climate laws as a legal framework for the next 20 or 30 years. We should ask ourselves which targets or goals we need to achieve on a national level and describe and define the roadmap for the years to come. As parliamentarians, it is our duty to ensure that these laws not only created but also applied, because climate change causes disasters, which in turn increase inequality and poverty. Furthermore, we have to make sure that a number of other policies are also adjusted. For example, warning systems and defenses have to be set up, as well as resilient infrastructures. This is essential in order to prevent loss of lives, destructions of homes, livelihoods, loss of jobs, etc. There is also need of social assistance for people facing such dramatic situations. In this context, interparliamentary cooperation can contribute to the exchange of expertise and best practices. In Greece, for example, we had a major catastrophe by mega fires last summer, and social assistance was a critical issue. Strong political will and determination is required for comprehensive approach and response to climate change. And this, of course, means extra financing, which is rather a problem for many countries. Ladies and gentlemen, in the European Union, we recently took the decision to create a European Recovery Fund in order to cope up with the economic crisis after the pandemic. And among others, with this fund, we are financing actions and policies to prevent climate change, investing in renewables, investing in green energy, accelerating the phase-out of coal energy, and speeding up the switch to electrical vehicles are some of the measures to achieve the ambitious 2030 emissions reductions. At the same time, these actions boost the economy and contribute to creations of new jobs. So actually it's a win-win situation. As many countries face difficulties to afford the green transition, the European Union supports developing countries in reducing their greenhouse gas emissions and adapting to the impacts of climate change. In 2020, 23.4 billion euros were committed by the European Union for this purpose. The EU also remains committed, contributing towards the developed countries' goal of jointly mobilizing 100 billion euros per year to support developing countries until 2025. As parliamentarians, we need and have to press our governments to act effectively against climate change and to implement the relative international agreements. We are running out of time. There is no space for excuses. It is our generation's obligation to hand over to our children and grandchildren a better and safer planet. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to share a thought. It's so pity to see these days the billions of dollars and euros caused by the war right now in Russia. Imagine if all this money and then the money to reconstruct Ukraine were devoted to the climate change, to prevent climate change. Just think about that. It's so pity. Thank you very much.